Finally, we get to do this video. I've been meaning to do this for a while, but finally, I'm getting the chance to do it. My name is Newton. I've been following Real Madrid for a long time, since at least 1998. So follow the club through different players, different eras, and I'm still a fan. So today, I just want to take the opportunity to discuss Real Madrid's season. Um, I listen to different podcasts out there, and different people have different opinions. But I just wanted to point out a few things that I think went wrong for us this season. Who's to blame? For me, this season, obviously was poor. I think it's over. It'd be a real miracle for us to win the league. But hey, you never know. But for me, I believe it's time to start looking at next season, start making plans, look for a new coach, figure out players, what positions we can strengthen, contracts. But the way this season went down, two people for me are responsible. Number one, our coach, Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo is a club legend. I have a lot of respect for him, for all that he's done for this club, the trophies. I believe he comes from a different era of football, and that era seems to be fading away. This is an era of, an era where football takes a lot more. Players require a lot more instructions, positional awareness, a tactical plan. That doesn't seem to be like Carlos' style of coaching. And it used to work, back in the day, but now you can see a lot of these new coaches, Pep, Xabi Alonso, Klopp, all these coaches, they adopt some type of a pressing scheme. There is a blueprint on how to attack and how to defend. I think the team lacked these things this season, coupled with the introduction of star player like Mbappe. With Vinny, everybody expected that to take off, but that didn't really fly because these two players seem to be getting in each other's way. And then you have the Madrid fan base. They're, divided. The Vinny fans, Mbappe fans, everybody's trying to blame the other player. But I believe these players, when you allow players to coach themselves in a game, they're prone to mistakes. They're always going to try to make a decision that's not what the other player is thinking about. That's why it's important for a coach to simplify things. Ancelotti just lacked that this season. Just lack of an idea of a specific way to play with all these players. I think he failed there. Squad management. He didn't really manage the squad well. Sometimes a player comes back from injury, they get thrown right back into it. I mean, look at the case of Mendy and El Clasico. A coach would usually have trust and have a backup player and find a scheme that will allow your backup players to thrive and to be able to step in when your main players are out. I mean, there's so many examples in different teams to refer, for this particular thing. But right now, I think this season, Carlo squad management, I think he could have done better. Now, I will admit that he was a little bit unfortunate with injuries, but regardless, he had players and he had some youth, which is the next point I'm going to go to. He did not trust the youth. We had a ridiculous talent like Arda sitting on a bench, doesn't even get enough play time. And the boy has enough talent to actually give this team one of the things they were really lacking this whole season, the entire season, right? And Carlo's been coaching for a long time. So I would have expected a guy like Carlo to figure that out, to know that, okay, there is a way that I can set this up where this boy can give us the creativity that we lack. But he failed to do that also. And I And one thing I have to say about Carlo is at some point he would have figured out that this wasn't working, that there's not any idea that he has that's actually working. Sometime in the middle of the season, I was hoping that he would just step down, do the right thing, ask the club to bring in somebody who might be able to save the season. But I don't know if he did and the club said, look, we can't find anybody, or if he didn't even think about it. In any way, I don't know what happened, but I would have expected, a coach that really loves, I know Carlo loves this club, but, it was the same with Zidane. There was some point he knew his voice was not making any difference in the locker room anymore, and he stepped down. He thought another voice would help the team. So I kind of expected Carlo to do something similar, but that didn't happen. Um, Another thing with Carlo was basically too much trust in the veteran, right? These veterans, some of them are good. Modric would give you something good here and there, but is Luka is not the man he used to be. But he remains a legend for me. But we shouldn't be prioritizing Luka in terms of playing time. We have Arda, we have Kema. Nico Paz should not even have been loaned out in the first place. These players should have been. The plan this season was to be able to bring these players into the team more. Luka could probably be some sort of a player coach or play when really, really necessary. Um, but you have Lucas Vasquez. The guy got cooked all season on the right back position after Carvajal left. Carvajal got injured, but Carlo insisted on playing him, even though it was very clear that the guy was just a weak link. Every team would basically plan their offense to go through our right-hand side. But Carlo insisted. Now, could he have tried different players from the academy? Maybe. We stumbled upon Asensio by accident. It was never a plan. It was never designed by Carlo. Oh, I'm going to bring Asensio into the team because I believe so much in him. No, it was by accident. Now you're going to ask yourself, how many other players in our academy would have been this good if he actually gave them a chance and the confidence to play? We probably would have gotten a better right back performance from some of these players, and it couldn't be any worse. Vasquez, he's a veteran. He has served this club. The guy worked hard. The dedication is there. The hard work is there. He's just not that good anymore. Physically, he's not. So I feel like putting him there is just setting him up for failure and just making the fans just hate on him more and more. It's not his fault. So Carlo putting him there was on Carlo. He put him in that position. So there's a lot of things we can discuss about Carlo this season that he didn't do, but I think ultimately he is mostly the reason why our season went the way it did. Some people I've seen have thrown some blame on the board, right, and rightfully so, because I think they are responsible for some things. But you got to look at a team like Barcelona. They didn't have a lot of money to spend. But they worked with what they got. They brought a coach who was able to work with what they got, and he did the job. And they having a good season, right? They already won the Copa del Rey. Even if they don't go on and win the rest of the trophies, but they had a good season. They play good football with purpose. They are very, very good going forward. So Carlo, I cannot say that he did the best he could with the squad he has. The squad should have done a little better. Nobody expected him with all his injuries to go on and win the Champions League or win the treble. No. But if we had played good football consistently, and then we don't win here and there, I think it would have been okay. Most people would not be so frustrated and disappointed in the season that we've had. When we talk about the board, some contracts should have never been extended. Luca, I think, is playing one season too long. I personally would have loved him to just kind of bow out like Tony did with the best season. Just kind of bow out, let this new era begin. Let Arda kind of step in there and start doing his thing. Lucas Vasquez, I think, also played one season too many. He probably should have been gone. Alaba, I understand his contract situation is a bit tricky. It'd be hard to move out. Now, a lot of people are throwing shades of Mendy. Mendy has been mostly injury prone and not the same Mendy we used to know. But I think there might be some other things, some other reasons other than just the decline. I believe that a lack of a footballing idea has affected every player that we have. All of them. Rudiger was playing with a lot of pain. That's understandable. The guy should not have been playing with pain, or with an injury. But that's what happened. But I believe that, the board should not have allowed all of these to go on. The board should have also figured out that Carlo was not going to be able to fix this somewhere in the middle of the season and probably have conversations with him. Either encourage him or persuade him to try and use the academy players to fill in, because it was clear the board knew they weren't going to sign anybody. Now, I also suspect if the board didn't sign anyone in January because they realized, well, look, it's not even a player problem. Even with the players we got, we think we should be doing better, but we're not. So it's not a player problem. So maybe we don't waste our money signing people that we're not going to need for the long term. Let us continue our project of focusing on long-term signings, right? Young people that are going to be in this club for the next 5, 6, 7 years, and not waste money on someone who's towards the end of their career but can come in on loan, and then you have issues trying to move them later when the guys who are injured are back. So I don't know what was going through the board's heads, or the people in the board. I don't know what they were thinking, but I think they should have at least had conversations with Carlo to say, look, we're not signing you players because we believe these young players are good enough. We want to see you try them. We want to see you work with them. Since we're going to throw away this season, why not just use them and experiment and let's see what we got. So I think that should have happened. So the board, they were a little bit passive, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the finances. They seem very hesitant when it comes to signing certain players. But again, that's the financial side of things. We don't have all the answers, so I can't really speak much to that. But it seems like, Madrid are a little bit too conservative when it comes to like spending the money, bringing in players. Like the young talent, Mastantuan, I heard there was issue with his agent. Even in January, there were other players, but at some point, it was either they were too expensive to bring in, or maybe they're not the profile in terms of age that we were looking for. But I certainly think the board has their blame for trusting Carlo to do this when it was obvious he didn't really have the answers. So I think that's the point where they should have stepped in and tried to save the season, but they didn't. But I believe Carlo ultimately it could have done better this season. The board could have done a little bit more to support him, but I think it's ultimately down to Carlo, because I believe that if Carlo did a little bit more than he put in, our season would be different. That's honestly what I think. I hope we can find the next coach, and I hope we will give him time to work with these talents. We have seen what Barcelona looks like, they are a very structured team right now, and everybody looks good. Rafinha looks good. Lamine looks good. Our players, player for player, are better, I think. And I just can't wait to see what these guys are going to look like under a more tactical oriented coach. But that's all I got, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you like the content and you want more of this, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.